Welcome to episode 64 of Two Guys, One Sport. My name is Chris.
Hi, Chris. How was your week?
My week was good, George. It was pretty, low-key week at work. Can't complain about that. And
end of the month, end of the quarter, you can't complain about low-key.
Yeah, definitely. We're finishing up the big project we were working on, and it's good stuff.
Nice.
So
I got drunk Saturday night and saw Ocean's 8. Do you want a non-spoiler recap of Ocean's 8?
Please.
I love Ocean's 11, the George Clooney one, not the Frank Sinatra one.
Right.
Although I'm sure I'd love the Frank Sinatra one too, because who the hell doesn't love Frank Sinatra? It didn't. Ocean's 8 was, and again, bear in mind that I had a picture of margaritas in me, so I'm not exactly cognizant or coherent of everything. It was good, quick, didn't drag, which was big for me, as we've discussed. Yes. You know, my 2-hour rule does not only apply to podcasts, as you know.
Brevity is appreciated.
Yeah, it was either Jurassic World at like 2:15, and I was like, yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, not with the picture of margaritas, especially.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. It was fun. It was fun. I mean, it wasn't great. It wasn't bad. It was, I mean, if we're ranking it on the star scale, I don't know, 3.5 maybe?
That's reasonable.
Yeah, there wasn't anywhere near as much chemistry between the cast as there was in the first Ocean series. Like, Brad Pitt wasn't, or you know how Brad Pitt was having like mountains and mountains of fun filming the movie, and you could just tell?
Yes.
Kate Blanchett, who is the Brad Pitt analog, who was very good, was playing that in a different direction, which is fine.
Right.
I am done with the all-female reboots of series, not because, oh no, the women are ruining my child. I don't give a fuck about that.
Yeah.
But it just seems kind of pandering. Like, can't we just make a good movie? Yeah. Like, without people losing their fucking minds, which I guess is asking a lot,
That's a universal problem in all of Hollywood, though. Like, nobody can make a good movie anymore.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. There wasn't anywhere near the suspense. Like, once the crime, the heist got rolling, you're like, oh, they're just going to get away with it, and then what? Like, the whole point of Ocean's 11 was, do they get the money? And then the movie ends, like, with them getting the money and Danny getting the girl. In this one, the movie, they get the MacGuffin, they get the thing, and then there's like a whole other half an hour of the movie. You're like, oh, okay. Yeah, all right. But Sandra Bullock, the first like 20 minutes were great, where she's like, Sandra Bullock gets out of prison just like Danny Ocean did, and then like has like $40 to her name, and then in like 15 minutes like robs like 4 department stores and gets a night in like a luxury hotel for free just by being a con man or con woman. That was great.
Nice.
I was like, all right, we're rocking and rolling so far. Kate Blanchett was quite good. If you watch it and you pretend that Sandra Bullock and Kate Blanchett are lovers instead of friends, the movie's way better.
Okay.
The movie's way better. Because then there's all this like weird, cool sexual tension that I don't even think it's that much of a stretch, to be honest. The supporting cast was Rihanna was good, which, considering she was a disaster in Battleship, I'm glad that she was much better in this.
Yes.
Because in Battleship was, holy shit. Oof. Yeesh. But she's much better in this. Mindy Kaling is stereotypically Mindy Kaling. Like, okay, whatever. But Anne Hathaway, I thought, was very good. Very good. So, look, no need to rush out and see it. 6 months from now, when it's on Netflix and you're hanging out on a Wednesday after NXT and you need something to watch, you could do a lot worse.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But there's no need to drop $15 a ticket, whatever the hell they cost in your area, you know, for full price. Like, you're not. If
you're lucky enough to have a theater that does like $5 Tuesdays or $10 Tuesdays or whatever, that might be worth it for that.
When I was a kid, we had a theater that did like, it would show like older movies for like $3. I don't know if you guys have like movies that are already out for like 6 months.
Yeah.
Like, that's the way to go. That's what's up. Because if you haven't seen
it, theater that had that. There was one theater that had that.
Yeah, and that I missed that. That was a cool place because it's whatever. $3 a movie. Who cares?
Exactly. Yeah.
So, how was your week?
Yeah, it was good. We already covered my week though.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay.
Let's get into the wrestling. Let's talk about the graps here.
I have a fun match of the week. Do you have a fun match of the week?
I don't know if I would necessarily call it fun, but it is important to the context of the show.
Okay. So, I like it.
Well, at least we'll call it the overarching themes of the show is what we'll call it.
Okay. Well, then should I go first and then you can go and it'll segue into the show?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. My match of the week is from 6 days ago.
Okay.
It is from Friday night CMLL Rush and LA Park.
Oh, nice. We were talking about this.
Yeah, this match was awesome.
Yeah.
Shitload of brawling, which CML almost never does, like fighting in the stands, lots of ref bumps, just ugly, vicious brawl. Like, we talked about the 3 types of lucha, like super heavy submission lucha, flippy-do lucha, and then like lucha brawling. Yeah. This was 100% lucha brawling. They did 3 falls because it's CMLL.
Yep.
No finishes, and the crowd was still so freaking hot that they didn't even care.
Nice.
They had 2 DQs and then a no contest for the 3rd fall. So, and the crowd was unbelievable, and the crowd was apparently like a super crowd in terms of capacity, something like 10,000, which is like 3,000 more than Friday nights normally does.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's a lot going on in these matches. A lot of fighting. Rush took someone's Coke, the drink, not the drug, and poured it all over himself just because.
Yeah.
I don't know why you'd want to get that sticky shit in your luxurious hair if you're Rush. But hey, I'm not going to stop him.
Rush is crazy. So, he's indomitable. So
he's
that's
crazy.
What he's going to do.
I'm not going to stop him and tell him he can't pour someone's Coke all over himself.
Rush needs to talk to his Japanese brethren and learn about Tranquilo, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
I like that they're the 2 branches of Ingobernables, and they're totally different.
Yeah.
They're both outcasts and crazy, but one is like Tranquil Fury crazy, and one is,
we're just fucking nuts.
So, now there was no post-match locker room interview because everyone was selling.
Yeah.
Nothing was said official, but you got to believe that this is the end of LA Park's run in Arena Mexico, and I will explain why in a minute. And then he'll come back in August to build up to the anniversary show, which will most likely be Rush's hair versus LA Park's mask.
Okay.
For the CML 86th anniversary or whatever it is.
Nice.
Super hot. No lockups, just punching, brawling.
Yep.
I mean,
we love those. Those are our favorite matches.
Great. I'm in. Like within 30 seconds, I'm like, all right, this is for me. This crowd was en fuego. It was so nice to watch a crowd that was just out of their minds crazy for professional wrestling. It was like contagious how hot they were. Yeah. Best part of the match was fat old LA Park doing a tope. Second best part of the match was LA Park power slamming Rush onto the 2nd row, grabbing someone's umbrella from the crowd and beating Rush in the head with it. There was like ref bumps and broken glass. This almost felt like that Jericho Naito match from Dominion in terms of just fighting in the crowd and just two guys who were just viciously beating the shit out of each other.
They really should do more stuff like this. We should have more access to stuff like this. Like CMLL does these awesome styles of matches and all this great variety, and it's so hard to get to see it. We need better access to this kind of stuff.
CMLL Friday nights is a great show.
Yeah, it's a treat.
I think it's 8:30 my time. Ends at 11 because that's when the last trains run, so it's quick. A little something for everybody. A lot of trios and old guys, and it's just a fun show on a Friday. Like, you know what I know. When you work a day job, you don't really do a lot on a Friday night. Like, you don't go out because you're just so beat up from all week.
Yeah, everybody talks about going out for happy hour on Friday nights. No one actually does it.
Thank you. My idea of a fun Friday is the grocery store is a few blocks from my apartment. It's 1 train stop before my train stop. I get off the train at 6 o'clock. I jump in the grocery store. I buy some things that I can need for the week: yogurt, frozen food, whatever, bananas. Go home, crack open a Budweiser, a Steve Weiser, watch CMLL Friday nights. You know, it's just the perfect recap, the perfect brainless recap to watch as you are letting the week just ooze out of you. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Ooze right into the weekend.
Let's talk about Park punching the commissioner, which is why he got, quote, suspended, which explains his storyline absence. Let's talk about LA Park working the main event of Triple Mania for AAA and the main event of CMLL's anniversary show in like 3 weeks.
Yep.
Let's talk about LA Park being the biggest draw south of the Rio Grande by miles.
Yeah.
And if these matches go well, and I cannot believe I'm saying this, but let's talk about LA Park as a Wrestler of the Year candidate, because the crowds are hot and he's getting people in the building and he's super charismatic. And last time I checked, that was the name of the game, right?
Yeah.
In any federation except for the one that headquartered in Stamford, Connecticut, it's who do people want to see show up and wrestle?
Yeah. But the funny thing about this that I love is that you'll think back to, what was it? Like late 2016, I think, when Maximo Sexy and the other guys got fired for fucking up. Who was it? Was it Negro Casas' stuff or somebody's car? Somebody's car got fucked up.
Somebody's car, yeah. It was Maximo Sexy and a few of the other upper mid carders.
Yeah. Pieroth. That's why Los Ingobernables is not actually really a thing anymore, because Pieroth was one of them. So now Los Ingobernables is just Rush and the other guy, La Mascara, I think. I don't remember.
And Rush's dad,
Rush's
Bestia.
dad.
What's his Bestia del Sol or something? What's his name?
So,
Bestia del Ring, excuse me.
Yeah. So it's like they lost a whole bunch of their upper card acts, but it just goes to show it didn't freaking matter, because they've managed to turn ancient LA Park into the biggest deal that they could have ever imagined. So
yeah,
it's freaking awesome.
And it helps when you have a guy as charismatic as Rush is.
Oh yeah.
People don't even love to hate Rush. They just hate him.
Yep.
Great. Like, I'm half surprised more people don't like Rush the Ring.
Yeah. We'll talk about great heels in just a little bit, because I got some words about another great heel, one of the last great heels that's left. Rush being one of them, and another guy who is on my mind. But we're going to talk about my match of the week first. Which was a match that I actually saw live. And the reason why I picked this match is because we're talking about the G1 tonight and the G1 blocks, and we're going to talk about why symbolism matters, given the recent events in New Japan. And this is a match where symbolism fucking mattered. From Evolve 91, in the hot as fuck, what the hell was the name of this venue that we were in? I don't even remember what venue this was in, but this was in Queens. It was in Queens, New York.
Boom?
No, it was not La Boom. It was the other place.
Okay.
The Elm Core Youth Center.
Oh, fun.
In Queens, New York. From Evolve 91, this is Darby Allin versus Timothy Thatcher, who had been in a feud for upwards of a year at that point in Evolve, including the one point where Darby Allin actually broke his arm during a match and still continued the fucking match because he's a madman. So these two have basically been in a feud for like forever. Even when Thatcher had the title before he dropped the title to Zack Sabre Jr. And Darby was just relentlessly chasing the title. And then he got injured. And this was like one of his first matches back, coming back from injury. I think it might, because it was very, very early back, very early in his recovery period. So these two hate each other. They fucking hate each other. Thatcher comes out to the ring with Stoke and, is greeted with insane amounts of boos because, that's Tim Thatcher in Evolve. Everybody fucking hated him. Mm-hmm. And Darby comes out, massive cheers because everybody loves the underdog, and Darby Allin is one of the last great underdogs that's left in independent wrestling. Match starts. Thatcher just immediately dumps Allin out of the ring and says he doesn't belong in his ring. Darby gets back in and immediately just Stokely with a tope to take him out, and then proceeds to drop kick Thatcher off the apron 4 times in a row. Thatcher sidesteps the 5th one, gets back in, suffers an arm drag, goes to the outside, takes a coffin drop straight to the outside. So Darby is straight out the gate, just balls to the wall. He doesn't give a shit. He is taking this guy out. This is the moment where he needs to say that I'm taking this guy out for the last time. But Tim Thatcher, being about a foot taller and 80 pounds heavier than Darby Allin, eventually takes control of the match and executes the Tim Thatcher game plan. Starts working the arm over pretty intensely and getting all the strikes in, even while the fans are just booing the shit out of him, hating every single moment that he's on offense, and then just starts to work his ground game. And Thatcher's in agony the whole time. He's in so much pain. He's desperately trying to avoid a Kimura lock. Finally, Thatcher gets it in, but Darby throws some knees and manages to break it out, and goes right back to the ground game. And Darby is in so much trouble. Gets out of a sleeper hold with a jawbreaker, goes for another coffin drop. Thatcher catches him into another sleeper hold. Darby barely gets the ropes. Barely. And then somehow manages to avoid the German, hits the O'Connor roll crossbody, and then Thatcher locks in the Fujiwara. And it looks like he's dead to rights, but Darby gets the ropes one more time. Barely gets the ropes one more time. Dragging himself up with his teeth because his arm is just fucking destroyed from all the punishment Thatcher's put on it. Thatcher cuts him off as he's trying to climb the ropes again. Darby fights him off. Thatcher's bent over in the ring. Darby hits a coffin drop onto his back. Looks like a freaking Kobashi leg drop, but straight onto his back. Striking back, he's throwing slaps, chops, another coffin drop, barely misses on another near fall. Rolls into the figure 4, hits the Gibson lock, and Thatcher taps the fuck out. And no. It wasn't tap out, it was a pinfall. But he gets the Gibson lock in and pins Thatcher for the win. It was an insane match with the pacing of it just shifting back and forth between Thatcher's round game and Darby just going balls to the wall to try and get the win. Now, symbolism comes in 2 parts here. One is the fact that after the match, Darby barely manages to get to his feet, again, because his arm is destroyed. Gets his other arm raised by the ref, and Thatcher is sitting in the ring in utter and complete disbelief. Darby is like, you can tell he's just waiting. He's just waiting for Thatcher to get up and just start brutalizing him again, because that's what Thatcher has done every other time in a post-match that they faced each other. And Thatcher just stands up and just kind of bids him away. Doesn't even go after him. Just is like, yeah, I'm done with you. And Stokely is in utter and complete disbelief. He's just, slack-jawed, like, what the fuck are you doing? And Darby gets out of the ring just at the same time as Walter walks through the curtain and just stands there in the middle of the ramp with his arms behind his back with this look of utter disapproval on his face at his ring conf partner, having just been bested by this tiny little man who he had handily dispatched so many times before.
He wore his leggings and booty shorts. He wore leggings and booty shorts to AEW. Darby.
He wasn't wearing leggings. He wasn't. Oh, Darby?
Yeah, he was wearing leggings and booty shorts.
He was in his long pants.
Okay.
But Walter just stands there and is staring at Thatcher. Darby kind of like, skirts around the side of him, expecting to get smacked, and just, makes his escape to the back. And Thatcher stands there with the death stare from Walter on, looks at Stokely, his catch point manager and partner for such a long time, and is like, I'm sorry, Stoke, I gotta go. I gotta go. And Stoke is just beside himself. He's begging. He's begging Thatcher. He's like, no, you can't do this. No, you can't do this. He even gets down on his knees and is like hugging Thatcher's legs to try and get him to not go. Because Stoke has invested everything into this dude. Everything. Kept him as one of the longest tenured Evolve champions for the entirety of his run. And, built an empire. Not an empire, but one of the strongest factions that Evolve has ever seen around this guy. And Walter doesn't even say a word. He's just staring. And he's not even acknowledging that Stokely is there. He just stares right at Thatcher. And Thatcher just keeps looking back at Walter and, looking down at Stoke, looking back at Walter. And it's just like he finally pulls Stokely up, gives him a hug, and just walks out of the ring. And walks up to Walter. His attempts to look Walter in the eye and then just bows his head down. Walter just turns and walks to the back, and Thatcher follows right behind him because symbolism matters. The symbolism of the power that Walter holds versus the opportunities that Stokely can bring is just so crystal clear in that moment. You can look at the face of Stoke and he knows. Thatcher can go to WXW and be part of the biggest faction in WXW and run the goddamn company. Or he can stay here with me and maybe get a shot at reclaiming his former glory. It's no fucking question what Thatcher's going to do, but Stoke is still just like, I gotta try. I gotta try. He's begging and he's begging. And he knows as soon as Thatcher leaves the ring that he's lost such a huge piece of what he's built. Because all he's got left now is Hot Sauce Tracy Williams and the Doom Patrol. That's all he's got left. That's all that's left at Catch Point. Gulak is gone. Everybody else has left the stable. Fred Yehi left the stable outright.
Fred Yehi has like a whole new gimmick too. Not only left the stable, but he's like totally transformed himself.
Yeah. Well, he had left back at like Evolve 83, and then and he walked at that point in time. But so that had been several months prior. But Yehi is gone. Gulak is gone. Everybody else the Catch Point had been centered around was gone, and now Thatcher was leaving too. And Stoke just the look on his face as Thatcher walked away and walked behind Walter to the back, it was just, you almost feel bad for the guy. Then you remember that he's the biggest fucking asshole manager that there is in all of independent wrestling, and you realize, oh yeah, sucks to be you, Stokely, but ha ha.
Yeah, you deserve it. You a Tim Thatcher fan?
I appreciate what he does and what he's capable of, but I am not necessarily going to go out and watch one of his matches. The reason why I picked this match is, again, the symbolism of Thatcher walking away from Stokely to go follow Walter, but also the symbolism of Darby Allin finally securing that win in the most desperate fashion that he could. That's the bigger symbolism point that I want to touch on about this. Pulling himself up on the ropes with his teeth, barely surviving the match with one arm, could not even function, that arm, by the end of the match because it had been just destroyed utterly. Darby finally getting that win meant the world to that Evolve crowd that was looking for their next Johnny Gargano. That had seen Johnny Gargano walk out the door a year plus prior, and we're looking for their next guy to latch onto. Because Matt Riddle's a great figure. Keith Lee is a great figure, but the central point of having an underdog in your Fed is to give the crowd someone to relate to. It's hard to relate to Matt Riddle. It's hard to relate to a Keith Lee. But Darby Allin, a guy who's 5'2" 120 pounds on his best day.
Yeah, he's little.
He's a tiny dude.
He's little, and he takes and gives a beating.
Yeah. It means the world for the crowd to be able to see that. And especially for the crowd to see that guy finally overcome the obstacle that he had been facing for all that time. Just like it was so important for the New Japan crowds to see Kenny Omega finally best Kaz Okada at Dominion and finally overcome the hump that he had been dealing with for a year and a half. Symbolism matters. And we're going to get into that right now as we look at the blocks for the G1 Climax 2018.
That, my friend, is a professional segue.
Starting on July 14th.
Nice segue.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Starting on July 14th, ending on August 12th, 28th G1 Climax. And we have ourselves...
I have a take for you, by the way.
We have ourselves a 20-man field, but please give me your take.
My take. You ready? This isn't even a hot take. This is like a lukewarm take. You sitting down?
I'm sitting.
I want you to go to A block. I want you to go to A block. Look at A block.
Yep.
Okay? Jay White is winning that block.
Yeah.
And you ready for a cold take?
Yep.
I think it is a near certainty. And the only reason I say near certainty and not certainty is because I touched that fucking stove for Wrestle Kingdom when I got burned. So I am hedging my bets. Yes. Slight hedging of the bets. I think it is a near certainty, my friend, that Jay White beats Kaz Okada night one.
Yeah.
I think that is as close to a lock as you can get.
Yeah.
Because you still got the whole Okada's in a funk, you know? And you have shit-talking Jay White, who's looking pretty good. And I think he beats Okada. And I think it is a little more definitive than you and I and anyone else would think. I don't think it's a banana peel, roll up the tights, grab the tights win. I think it's a switchblade right in the middle of the ring.
Yep.
Remember, we're still telling the story of Okada's downward spiral. In fact, it would not. I am not willing to go this far, and I'll let you give your overarching view of this block. I figure we'll go block by block, and then we can kind of go from there. I will. I am not gonna go this far, but if Jay White wins the entire thing, it wouldn't shock me, and let me tell you why. Is Jay White gonna main event Wrestle Kingdom 2019? No, he's not.
No.
But sooner or later, someone's going to lose that fucking briefcase.
Yeah.
Between the G1 and Wrestle Kingdom. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Sooner or later.
Has it happened ever before?
It has never happened before. There have been times where the G1 winner has challenged someone other than the heavyweight champion.
Yes.
Intercontinental, when Nakamura was building the Intercontinental, etc. But it would not surprise me if Jay White wins the briefcase and then loses it back to one of the quote unquote main eventers. You know,
I could see that happening.
They're still high on Jay White.
Yes, and rightfully so.
And rightfully so. And it is looking more and more like that Wrestle Kingdom match against Tanahashi was an unfortunate blip, an aberration, rather than a trend.
Yes.
You know, it was a flat match, and it happens. Everyone has flat. It's unfortunate that he had a flat match in the biggest show of the year versus the Ace, but onward and upward. You know what I'm saying? You can't really...
And it has been straight onward and upward.
It has been straight onward and upward. He had excellent matches with Adam Page at the Long Beach show, the first Long Beach show, obviously. I'm looking at this A block. I mean, you have... alphabetical order, Human Trash, Evil, not winning it. Human Trash is not winning this block.
No.
Evil, not winning this block. Bad Luck Fale, not winning this block. Togi Makabe, not winning this block.
No.
Okada, maybe. Adam Page, not winning this block. Minoru Suzuki, maybe. Hiroshi Tanahashi, maybe. Jay White, maybe. Yoshihashi, definitely not.
Yeah.
Of all those maybes, I think Jay White's your number one contender.
Yeah. Because you've got 3 guys who are already established names that don't need to shine right now. And one of whom we're telling a different story with him. Another of whom we're also telling a different story in terms of Tanahashi. And Suzuki, you can basically slot Minoru Suzuki in anywhere, and he'll be excellent. So
I have not seen. Oh, go on. I'm sorry.
They don't need him to win. There's no need for him to win the block.
No. Everybody who could win this block, who realistically could win this block, doesn't need the rub except for Jay White.
Yeah. And the story that they're telling with Jay White makes sense for him to be the one that wins the block also.
As the shit stirrer who takes over chaos.
I don't know about taking over chaos, but I certainly would not be surprised to see him betray chaos and go in a different direction. Like, I don't know, maybe striking out and joining the Tranquilo Bastards of LIJ. Because
I wouldn't touch. I wouldn't
advise it.
I think they're absolutely perfect the way they are.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't advise that, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did it. But on the other hand, I could easily see him going the other way and becoming Zack Saber's right-hand man in the new forming Saber Gun.
Yeah, I think Suzuki Gun is not long for this world.
No.
Speaking of, give me 3 matches you're looking forward to in this block.
In a block.
In a block. I figure we'll do that for each of the each of the blocks. 3. Give me 3 or 4. It doesn't have to be 3, but give me the 3 or 4 matches you are most looking forward to.
The first 2 are rematches from the past year of New Japan that I have adored. Evil Okada and Evil Tanahashi. Evil Tanahashi as a feud was spectacular. Evil Okada as a feud, also spectacular. Both feuds fairly short, but still amazing for what they offered. Because Evil is one of the guys. Evil is going to be one of the guys. He's
knocking on the door.
He is on the cusp.
Let me ask you a question about Evil while we're talking about Evil.
I'm actually wearing my Everything is Evil shirt right now, so it's fitting.
So that is my. Do you think Evil, the gimmick, is a main event level gimmick, or do you think he would need to retool his gimmick to become a main eventer? And I'm talking Wrestle Kingdom main eventer, like main capital M, capital E main eventer, because he's got the talent.
Yes,
that is undeniable. Do you think the gimmick is potentially holding him back from reaching the tippy top of the card?
If this were any other company, I would say yes. But I've said it before, and I will say it again. New Japan has an uncanny ability to take a gimmick that would otherwise seem hokey and stupid anywhere else in the world and still manage to make it seem like something worth paying attention to. Evil has mastered the aura of his character and has made it such that when you look at the guy, you don't care that he's carrying a freaking Party City scythe and wearing a skull mask that looks like it's been bedazzled by a 13-year-old. You don't care because you know that behind that is a guy who can wrestle with that aura of darkness that he carries with him. Because he's clearly shown he has the ability to turn it on and become a dangerous fighter in the ring. He's shown it before, and to the point where you can see why he would call himself the King of Darkness. And I don't think that there is any other company in the world where that could thrive. And I dare say that the gimmick would be even better in the main event of a Wrestle Kingdom. Because think about it this way. Remember when Nakamura and Styles fought at Wrestle Kingdom 10, and Nakamura had the most ostentatious entrance that you could possibly freaking imagine?
I do.
That's because Nakamura capitalized on that rock star vibe for so long that you could legitimately see him as somebody who would get on stage alongside a Freddie Mercury or a Bon Scott and just rock the fuck out in front of a crowd of 30,000 screaming fans that would adore him. Nakamura mastered that rock star aesthetic. Evil has mastered this dark, brooding warlord aesthetic. And I think that to see the kind of an entrance you could give Evil in the main event of a Wrestle Kingdom would be on par with anything they've ever done with Nakamura, anything they've ever done with Okada, anything they've ever done with Kenny Omega. You give Evil that entrance, especially with that music that I still fucking adore. And the crowd is going to be holding their breath the whole time because they're going to feel the intensity.
Real quick, do you have the actual schedule for the G1 up?
No, I do not.
Okay. Can you pull up the last night's, the Sumo Hall for each block? Because I think it tells us something. While you do that, let me give you my matches.
I had a couple of the matches I wanted to.
Okay. Finish your matches up.
Yep.
And I will pull that schedule up while you finish the matches.
Okay, yeah, that works. Yeah. Other matches I'm looking forward to. I really am interested to see Adam Page versus Jay White, the rematch, because these are two guys that have both upped their game significantly in the past year, and I'm very interested to see where that goes. And finally, the fourth match, the next chapter of Okada Tanahashi, because it's never a bad match, but this time, this is going to be a dramatically different tale than anything we've seen before, because we've seen Okada on the rise, shit-talking his way into Tanahashi's, bad graces. We've seen Okada desperately holding on against the Tanahashi, eager to reclaim his spot as the ace. We've seen Okada, dominant champion, against the fading but still scrappy old man Tanahashi. Never before have we seen the downtrodden, defeated, and desperately searching for meaning Okada facing a hurt and barely holding on Tanahashi that knows that his twilight is coming and he needs to capitalize on every moment he has left. Never before have we seen a story like that. And this is going to be a match that I think is going to be a very unique chapter in their history, which we've already discussed has been an amazing story with where they have gone, with what ground they've covered over the past, 5 years, 6 years?
Yeah, something like that.
This is going to be an entirely different story, an entirely different tone to everything that's going to happen in this match. And I am so ready for it.
Okay. Let me give you one that has not been suggested.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to, for some reason, actually, it's not even for some reason, I can explain. I'm looking forward to not quite as large Bad Luck Fale versus Kaz Okada.
Yeah.
Because those two have great matches when Fale was much larger, and he's lost a shitload of weight.
Yes, he has.
He's still big-looking dude. He's a big man. He's never going to be, like 220. He is a large, vicious-looking, nasty bastard. But he has lost a lot of the bloat, and he's moving a lot better. And I guarantee his quality of life and his quality of in-ring are both going to be better now that he's not carrying around that weight at his age.
Absolutely.
And Okada and he have had good matches in the past.
Yes.
So I'm eager to see them carry this on. Suzuki Jay White intrigues me. Just Minoru stretching out the young bastard.
Yep.
And remember, 30-minute matches. So we're not going to get a lot of the masturbatory heel hook for 20-minute bullshit that we get with Suzuki matches that we have gotten in the past.
Yeah.
So the 30-minute matches are going to help us a lot. The bottom half of this block is pretty top heavy. Like Okada, Suzuki, and Tanahashi and White, and then it kind of drops off a lot. I like Adam Page. Page White should be fun to see the two kids in their first time. Page Tanahashi looks like it could be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
But White Okada, I'm looking forward to the most because I think White's winning that match.
Yeah.
And just not even matches. I'm looking forward to seeing what a guy like Adam Page can do. He's had a very interesting 18 months.
Yeah.
Kind of plucked from obscurity as like the 6th member of the Bullet Club. And I'm curious to see if he can hold his own in the big leagues.
For sure.
I mean, I don't expect him to have a classic with Togi Makabe. Don't get me wrong.
No, yeah, no.
But there's no reason he should not have good matches with Okada, obviously Tanahashi, Suzuki. And do I expect him to go 8-1? No, of course not.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he can win a couple matches. Like, I don't see why not. So I think this is a good first step. And then next year, maybe he challenges for the Intercontinental or he gets another shot at the U.S.
Yeah.
Or maybe, and then we kind of see what goes from there.
Yeah.
Like, I like the slow burn. He is pretty great on being the elite. He's pretty great on Twitter, and that stuff matters these days. Like, it's not wrestling is not just show up, cut a promo in the ring, and go home. Like, your persona, you're on 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
So
Adam throwing his matches out there.
What we got?
He's looking forward to Evil Hangman Page, Jay White, Suzuki, and Okada Tanahashi.
Okada Tanahashi is going to be, without saying, will be sensational.
Yeah. Anybody else who's in the chat, if you want to throw out what matches you're looking forward to in the blocks, definitely feel free to do
Evil Hangman Page does the number 2s of their respective divisions.
Yes.
Does kind of the Dragon versus the Dragon. Evil, it'll be 2 big guys who don't screw around throwing hands, which, great. Nice. Sign me up. Cool. Yeah. Good times.
Absolutly. You want to have those matches where it's just 2 guys who aren't going to fuck around. They're just going to go straight for it.
Let me finish now that I have the match. The match is up from Budokan. The final night of each block. And I think this tells us who's winning these blocks. Okay. A block. You ready?
Yep.
Fale versus Suzuki. Fun. Very fun. But neither guy's winning the block. That's what this tells me. Because you're going to have Suzuki maybe, but if Suzuki was winning the block, he would get a primetime match.
Yeah.
Sorry, Fale. You're not a primetime match.
Not anymore. It'll be a good one, though.
Yo, the match. No, I have no doubt. No doubt. Yoshihashi versus Adam Page. Yeah, okay, whatever. Jay White versus Evil. Okay. That could be a match with some stakes.
Yes.
Could absolutely be a match with some stakes.
Yep.
Makabe versus Filth. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, setting aside the Elgin stuff that neither one of those guys is doing anything anyway, so whatever.
Yeah.
And then Tanahashi Okada as your main event, because you need a big boy main event to sell out 14,000 seats.
Absolutely. So,
what tells me that the two matches that matter are White and Evil and Tanahashi Okada, which tells me one of those 4 men is winning this block.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be Tanahashi and Okada.
No.
They don't need the rub.
And that's not the story that they're telling with the 2 of them.
Not. Especially with Okada.
No.
I think it's a little too early for Evil. I still think he's got stuff to do with Sonata and the tag team. Especially get the belts back from the Young Bucks, etc. You know? So I think by that logic, Jay White is winning this block. Now, would it shock you if Jay White wins this block because Tanahashi and Okada draw in the same style that Goto won the block 2 years ago?
It wouldn't shock me,
or do you think that it's going to be way more definitive than that?
I think it's going to be way more definitive than that because I think here's a scorching take for you.
Oh, I love it. Let me get my oven mitts on.
I think that it's going to come down to tiebreakers, and the tie-breaking match that's going to put Jay White over is Tanahashi beating Okada in the main event.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that would be a stellar direction to go in with Okada, because they need to put an exclamation point on this downward spiral that he's in.
I think so.
Because
I think this is a good take.
The idea of it should be that Okada has his usual dominant form in the G1, but the cracks show in the armor against certain people. You know, he bounces back from losing to Jay White in the first night, but he shows some cracks against Bad Luck Fale. He shows some cracks, maybe even loses to Suzuki. He shows some cracks against Evil. And then on that last night, when the old man Ace comes to the ring and sees the cracks in the armor, he takes advantage and sends Okada packing and says, "It's not your time anymore, kid. You lost your moment."
Mm-hmm.
That would be such a great way to turn the corner and start the Okada rise back to fame. That would be such a great way to do it, because we've seen Okada dominate Tanahashi every time they've faced each other for the past year and a half. Every time.
Yep.
But now we can take it back to what it looked like in that 2016 G1, where it looked like Tanahashi was about to win and the bell rang. It looked like Tanahashi had Okada dead to rights and the bell rang. Yep. And Tanahashi never showed another glimmer of capability of beating Okada. But now that Okada has been bested and he's downtrodden and he's having to fight his way through, Tanahashi can pull one more rabbit out of the hat and take Okada off his pedestal for the first time in over 2 years. That would be spectacular.
Also, keep this in mind. That match is going to be the main event of the. Therefore, I will be very surprised if that block is closed up before that match happens.
Oh, no. That's why I'm saying the tiebreakers.
Yeah, that match will have some sort of stakes.
Yeah. I'm thinking that what we end up getting is a three-way logjam at the top of Okada, Tanahashi, and Jay White. But Jay White, having beaten both of them, wins the block.
But despite losing to Evil earlier in that night and catching a loss for Suzuki or whatever.
Yeah.
Or maybe even Adam Page or whomever, whatever.
Yeah.
You're right. I could see. Yeah. Okay. I am with you there.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. Any final thoughts on the A block before we transition to the
B block,
varsity, so to speak, away from the junior varsity to the varsity?
Nah.
Okay.
I don't need to talk about anybody else that's in that block. There are some people who I outright will refuse to talk about. We covered pretty much all that needs to be covered there. The major players will get their spotlights, and the rest of it
It's a very top heavy block.
The rest of it is just filler.
It's a very top heavy block.
Yeah.
B block. Ready for a list
of names? Oh my God. Let me give you this list of names. I love reading this list of names. I love reading this list of names. I'm so giddy about reading this list of names, you guys. You don't even realize. In alphabetical order: Hiroki Goto, Kota Ibushi, Tomohiro Ishii, Tetsuya Naito, Kenny Omega, Juice Robinson, Zack Sabre Jr., Sanada, Tama Tonga, and Toru Yano. Literally only one name in that block that I am not ecstatic to see wrestle, and that's Toru Yano, because it's fucking Toru Yano.
Yeah, but he's there for a reason.
Yeah. Every other name in that block, holy shit, this is going to be so good. This is just as stacked as B block was last year, when B block had Omega, Okada, Evil, Sanada, and that host of other names.
Give me the matches you're most looking forward to.
Oh God, this is gonna go for a while. I've got about 6.
Yeah, I'm looking at this list of names and I have like 5.
Yeah. First of all, I'm gonna go with the blatantly obvious. First of all,
yeah, give me the obvious. I know where you're going.
Well, Yeah, I mean, it's actually two that are blatantly obvious when you think about it. But yeah, obviously the blatantly obvious Kenny Omega versus Kota Ibushi, because why the fuck not?
That is your main event that is B Block's main event for the last night of B Block.
Yep. Second, blatantly obvious, maybe only blatantly obvious to you and I, but should be blatantly obvious to more people. The rematch of a great series between Zack Sabre Jr. and Tomohiro Ishii, which is they're always great.
I have a blatantly obvious one, and I'm wondering if you'll come across it. There's about 4 blatantly obvious ones here.
Yep. Another rematch from last year's G1 that I think will be infinitely better than the match was last year, and the last year's match was great. Juice Robinson versus Kenny Omega. That
was an exceptional match.
It was.
And Omega did not have a great G1, but that match was very, very good.
Yep.
You ready for my blatantly obvious? Can I throw in my blatantly obvious?
I got two more.
Give me you 2 more.
Tetsuya Naito versus Sonata.
That'll be fun.
I loved watching Evil versus Sonata last year in the G1, and seeing LIJ clashes against each other is always a good time. And finally, Tama Tonga versus Kenny Omega, another rematch from last year's G1 that was also really fucking awesome. Because I think that match, and the reason why I'm really excited for that match is that I think that match is really going to give a nice bird's eye view into what is going to happen for the last 4 months of the year leading up to Wrestle Kingdom with regards to the Bullet Club. Because the Bullet Club, as we know, right now is in a little bit of flux. You can't deny it anymore, George. You can't say Bullet Club is fine anymore.
Bullet Club is fine, Chris.
Bullet Club is not fine because Kenny Omega is facing Cody for the belt at the fucking G1.
It's a sibling rivalry. Sibling rivalry, Bullet Club is
not a sibling rivalry anymore, my friend. You cannot say it.
Let me give you my obvious matches.
Yeah.
The ones you mentioned, for sure. Kenny Omega versus Tomohiro Ishii. Those two have yet to have a match that I have below like 4.5 stars.
Yeah.
Their match in the finals of the USA tournament last year is like one of my 5 favorite matches of 2017. It
was such a good match. It was so good.
How about Kota Ibushi versus Sonata? The battle of the heavyweight flyboys. You know what I mean?
That's gonna be so good.
The heavyweight flyboys. How about Zack Sabre Jr. versus Never Say Die Hiroki Goto?
Oh, that's gonna be amazing.
And I have one more for you. Ready?
Yeah.
How about Tetsuya Naito versus Juice Robinson? Tranquilo versus Fire. Right? Yeah. By the way, did you see that promo I sent you with Juice Robinson talking about his broken hand?
No, I didn't.
Oh my God!
When did you send this?
I sent it in the Twitter thing that we use.
I have to find this. I have to find this and bookmark it to watch.
Really good. It's like 3 minutes, and Juice is cutting a promo about how Jay White broke his hand, and he doesn't know if he can beat Jay White with 2 hands, let alone 1 hand. But he's gonna find out, and he doesn't quit. You know. And it was a great promo too. And I'm obviously giving you the Cliff Notes version. Yeah. But it was a great promo because it made Juice into this Never Say Die babyface, but it made Jay White into a stone face killer.
Yeah.
He's talking about like, I don't know if I can beat you with 2 hands, but I'll be damned if I can try. You know? Like it's just like this is good stuff.
Yeah.
Dig it up. Let me dig it up while you let me dig it up. After I tell you
I scrolled back a few days in the group chat and I can't find it.
You're not gonna find it. There's a lot going on. Let me give you the final night's matches. Same logic as before. You ready?
Yeah.
Juice versus Goto. Neither one of those guys is gonna win this block.
No.
Match will be very good.
It will be.
Ishii versus Sonata. Neither one of those guys is gonna win this block.
But they've yet to have a bad match against each other either.
Absolutely.
So that'll be a great match as well.
Toru Yano versus Tama Tonga.
Nah.
Whatever.
Yeah. That'll be a fun match though because they always have fun because Toru Yano's terrified of Tama Tonga.
Just like drops profanities and shit.
Yeah, Tamatanga wants to kill Toriano legitimately.
Ready for the 2 finalists?
Mm-hmm.
Naito versus Sabre Jr. rematch from the New Japan Cup.
Let's get some wiggly.
Omega and Ibushi, which is your main event.
Yeah.
So given that,
oh my God,
who is winning this block?
While I ruminate on that, Adam's picks for what he's looking forward to: Juice versus Tamatanga, Sabre versus Ibushi, another awesome match, and Omega versus Ishii, like you said. Yeah.
Oh, Omega, yeah, no. Juice versus Tamatanga will be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Two guys who just fire.
Yeah, and ZSJ versus Ibushi, another rematch from last year, from last year's G1. That was another stellar match. Yeah. As for who wins the block, I have no goddamn idea, because you could make legitimate cases for any one of those 4 guys to win the match without even breaking a sweat.
Oh, absolutely.
Omega Ibushi would be a stellar main event of Wrestle Kingdom. Omega winning the block and then losing to his eventual challenger would be a stellar way to end the G1. Naito winning his second G1 in a row and seeing if he can finally get the prize that he's always been looking for is a stellar idea. And Sabre claiming his rights as a big deal and using that to supplant Suzuki would be an amazing story. Any one of those 4 guys winning that briefcase and being the challenger at Wrestle Kingdom 13 would be unbe-fucking-believable. It's this B block may be one of the best tournament brackets that I've ever seen in anything for wrestling related, ever. This is just beyond words amazing. 9 out of 10 dudes who are spectacular at what they do. It's gonna be some of the best wrestling we've ever seen, hands down. I don't even need to hesitate to say that. It goes without saying that this B block is going to give us some of the best wrestling of 2018. Easily. If you put a gun to my head and force me to pick a winner, though, right now, I say Kota Ibushi.
I think, see, when these blocks first came out a month ago, or whatever it was, 2 weeks ago, I thought the story was Naito beats Omega, gets the title shot at King of Pro Wrestling, wins the title, Okada wins the G1. We run last year's main event, but backwards, with Naito as the champion and Okada as the challenger.
Okay.
But I think it's too soon for the Okada redemption to be this early.
Yeah, no.
Especially, and then they started doing the multi-man matches where Okada was taking pinfalls and he was not doing the Rainmaker and he looked so devastated without his belt. And I said, they're going to stretch us out a little bit.
Yeah, and rightfully so. Rightfully so, because it's been, 2 years?
What do you think? Years. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And remember, this company does nothing quick.
Yeah.
Nothing quick.
And it works out brilliantly for them.
What do you think the odds of Omega Ibushi getting a draw and then Naito or Sabre Jr. winning the block that way? Because that way you preserve a finish for Omega Ibushi for the Dome.
True.
Remember, remember, Jay White versus Naito will sell out.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris, did you watch the Zack Sabre Jr. match from Dominion with Zack Sabre Jr. and Minoru Suzuki versus Tomohiro Ishii and Toriano?
Yes.
Did you see how over Sabre was?
Yeah.
We talked about this at the time. He's a made man after that New Japan Cup.
Yes.
I don't know if they're ballsy enough to do a Sabre Jay White main event at Budokan.
I don't think that they're going to.
I don't think they are.
No.
But I think they're ballsy enough to do a Jay White Tetsuya Naito main event. Because Naito, that will sell out.
Yeah, because Naito is unquestionably a draw.
I think Naito is winning this block, and I think he's winning it because Omega and Ibushi are going to a 30-minute draw, and he's going to win with in that way.
That actually, now that you've presented that actually is.
I think they're going to save.
I'm going to change my tune. Yeah, I'm changing my tune.
They're going to save that finish. I just thought of that. I thought of that like on Tuesday. Because I just kind of ruminating. The joys of public transportation. You get a lot of time to think. They're going to save that finish for the Dome whenever it is. A definitive one man beats the other man finish.
If they ever decide to.
They're not wasting it in the B block finals. That
wouldn't necessarily be a waste, but I don't think that's the appropriate place for it.
So I think Naito is winning this block.
Yeah.
So, hypothetically, Naito and Jay White, your G1 final.
Yeah.
Who's winning that match and why?
I think it's got to be Naito.
I think Jay White would win that match because you can always lose the briefcase later.
Yeah, but I don't think that they necessarily want to do that with Jay White. I don't know. I mean, I could see it, but I think that Jay White has come back strong enough beyond the whole, flat match with Tanahashi at the Dome.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jay White has come back strong enough that you can have him lose that match and still have him be in prime position to be a big-time player as he betrays Chaos and strikes out against the faction and, starts to dismantle them one piece at a time, starting with Okada. And I think that's a story that you can tell and have it be, legitimately excellent. Because they've got a lot of great players. They've got a lot of great players in Chaos. But if you tell the story of
great players in Chaos.
If you tell the story of Jay White, knife-wielding assassin that goes around and just picks off the Chaos guys in singles matches one at a time, and to the point where he has just decimated the whole faction as a one-man army, that's a story that you can take a lot of places. And I would be on board with that 100%.
So Naito wins the G1 2 years in a row, huh?
I think that's actually the right thing to do. Okay. I honestly think that's the right thing to do because they did. We both took the L on that Wrestle Kingdom main event. We both took the L hard.
We took the L.
We took it and
took it right on the fucking chin, my friend.
Yep.
And we were all moody and pissy about it too, remember?
Yeah. And we were boboth upset.
We were real.
Go back and listen to that podcast from January 4th.
Yeah. we were L takers extraordinaire.
Happened. Yeah. We were both upset.
Yep.
But Naito has persevered and held on to his spot and still been one of the hottest commodities in the company. And him winning the second year in a row and then going into the Dome to challenge again as the wiser, wilier, and more conniving challenger and taking the belt off Omega in that main event and holding it for a year until Okada walks back in to say, all right, I'm back from my, journey of personal discovery or whatever the hell you want to call it, and I'm ready to reclaim my spot. And then you have to finally give them the finish to that story. That's something that'll sell out a fucking Dome in a heartbeat. Hell, even Naito versus Omega will sell out the Dome in a fucking heartbeat. Because those are two guys that the entire New Japan audience has put all their chips in on, without hesitation. Those two dudes are the top dogs alongside Okada. Naito and Omega are the guys, and the idea of finally, after 3 years of Okada main events that have ended with him winning in dominant fashion, the idea of a new set of challengers, Okada's last 2 challengers, mind you, coming to face each other on uncharted territory in that main event of the Dome, where neither one of them is walking in to face the crowned ace, the crowned prince. Instead, they are both walking in looking to take his place, finally. Because, Omega won the belt. Omega won the belt at Dominion. But, he still has got to prove himself as the champion. Naito is, lost at Wrestle Kingdom, but he still has held the hearts of the people in the palm of his hand. And
yeah, he's a made man too. No doubt.
Yeah, as made men, those 2 dudes are both walking in there looking to cement a legacy as the guy that takes the reins from the prince. Omega's holding those reins, but it's not clear what course he's setting. If he wins, we know that he is, the man to lead the company into the future with his vision of what he wants wrestling to be, because that's been what he's been about for all this time. Every promo that he's ever given about being the man to lead New Japan into, its expansion. That's been his thing. Naito, as the man of the people, the guy who will get down on one knee to fist bump a child who is scared of approaching his hero from the crowd. The man of the people, the Robin Hood that never wanted to wear the hat, but is wearing it now. And for him to take the belt there would say, my vision of a company that is not beholden to corporate whims of Gedo and Kidani. My vision for what I want this company to be is what is right, is what is meant, is what is, going to be the future. And the future is going to be ingobernable. That's something that the crowds worldwide are going to get behind, because the crowds worldwide fucking love Naito. So either one of those 2 dudes winning at the Dome, that's a story that will go down in history as one of the best.
Last question, and then we move on from New Japan, from the G1. Who does Omega lose to set up title defenses at King of Pro Wrestling and Power Struggle?
At least 2.
Most likely 2.
Most likely 2.
At least 1. He ain't going undefeated.
No, absolutely not. No. I'm going to say Ishii as 1. And I'm going to say Goto as the other. Because I think they can retell the story of, Goto lost that G1 final, but he's been, he's found himself and has been, back to being, an actual talent and champion after, for the past 2 years. And, he's out to avenge that loss in the finals. And obviously Ishii, they always have amazing matches.
Oh my God. I have a name for you. And those are both great names. I have a name for you. How about filling the role that his partner in crime filled last year, Sonata? Evil beat Okada last year and got in the G1 in a great match and got a heavyweight title championship and rose to the occasion. We saw Sonata this year get a title shot at New Beginning. Remember?
Yeah.
Against Okada. What do you think of him beating Omega and getting another one at at Power Struggle? Keep him on the front burner for a minute.
Yeah.
Plus, he could lose to Omega in a title match and not be hurt any, assuming he does not have a bad match.
Mm-hmm.
One of the fun things about this Omega reign is that you have so many fresh options for championship defenses. I can see them, quote, wasting, close quote, one of the defenses against Sonata. And it's still being a 4.5-star match, don't get me wrong. Omega is a wrestling genius. And Sonata's very, very good in his own right.
Yes, he is.
I can see Sonata winning in the G1, setting up a match of Power Struggle against Omega. Yeah, same way Evil did last year.
Yep.
Remember, history does not repeat itself, Chris, but it does rhyme. And that will be a big rhyme. Instead of Evil Sonata, his foil, instead of Okada Omega, his foil. You know, like you see that narrative I'm trying to set up here?
Yeah, absolutely. So, it sounds perfect.
Omega Goto would be great. Love their G1 final from 2016. Love it, love it, love it. So, wouldn't shock me at all. You could revisit that. It's been 2 years. It'll be over 2 years by then.
Yeah. So. There's a lot of options.
45 minutes, my friend. What do you want to talk about next?
Let's go over the results of the second WWE United Kingdom Championship Tournament and the other events that happened during this tournament that finally has aired on the WWE Network. So the actual tournament of matches, the field consisted of the following 16 gentlemen: Zach Gibson, Amir Jordan, Drew Gulak, Jack Gallagher, Flash Morgan Webster, James Drake, Tyson T-Bone, Jordan Devlin, Tucker, Joe Coffey, Dave Mastiff, Kenny Williams, Leggero, Travis Banks, Ashton Smith, and Joseph Connors. No shame if you don't know all of those names, because believe me, I didn't either when I first read through this list.
Neither did I.
Yeah. I'm going to fast forward, though, all the way to the semifinals, because the semifinals are where the important stuff happened here. One semifinal match: Joe Coffey versus Travis Banks. A stellar match between two of the greatest prospects going in international wrestling. Joe Coffey, just an all-around great Scottish wrestler, all over the place in the British scene with ICW. Two-time former ICW World Heavyweight Champion, and just an amazing resume. Travis Banks, the name speaks for itself. One of the best in the world today. Current Progress World Champion. And just, you can't go wrong with anything Travis Banks does. He's just amazing.
He's so good.
Yeah.
He's in Bola, by the way. Next week, let's talk about Bola.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I didn't even remember that Bola was coming up, so that's actually good.
Well, we got time. It's coming up in mid-September. I think, 16th or so. The field got released. I want to break it down with you, because I think it tells us a little bit about the state of indie wrestling. But we don't have the kind of time to do that and talk about Ring of Honor and talk about. So put it on the back burner for next week or maybe even 2 weeks, because we got time. But I think we need to do a little bit of a deep dive into Bola and what it tells us about the state of independent wrestling. Yeah, definitely. So keep that in the brain. Yeah. I have a homework assignment for you for next week, but I'll tell you at the end of the show. Go on. Okay. So that match was amazing and well worth the watch. Two guys who were just fighting tooth and nail the whole time, and just go watch it. It's only a 10-minute match, but it's amazing. On the other side, the other semifinal match, Zach Gibson versus Flash Morgan Webster. At the top of the show, when you were talking about Rush and how people just hate him, one of the last great heels in modern wrestling, let me talk to you about Zach Gibson, a man that is so hated and so reviled everywhere that he goes that it is impossible for him to complete a sentence in a promo without the entire crowd drowning him out with boos, because he is so deep in the role of just being this insufferable, unlikable asshole that constantly is just spouting off about how he is the greatest from Liverpool and how Liverpool is better than everywhere else. And
how nobody can possibly beat him because he's the best that there ever was from Liverpool, and goes out and oftentimes backs it up in the ring by just being a complete dick and winning matches in the dirtiest style possible. Not like cheating dirty, but like he just wrestles in the kind of way that if you recall how Pete Dunne was in last year's UK Championship Tournament, and he was just this, irreconcilable scoundrel that was just taking cheap shots on dudes and taking every possible dirty trick that he could pull out of the book that was still legal and get the win. That's Zach Gibson, but Zach Gibson amplifies it by a power of about 100. He is such an asshole. And crowds don't love to hate him. Crowds just genuinely hate him. If you ever watch Progress, I implore you guys, go watch some Progress. Seek out any Zach Gibson singles match and any Zach Gibson promo in front of the crowd. The man has one of the greatest abilities to just turn everyone against him immediately. They were taking off their shoes to show their disapproval with Zach Gibson during this tournament. There was chants going up with shoes off if you hate Gibson. And people were just taking off their shoes and waving them in the crowd. Some people are even throwing their shoes. Because that's what happens in the UK. Because they're all freaking crazy.
Seems like a waste of good shoes, but okay.
Well, they got him back. But
good.
Yeah. But Gibson has the greatest ability of anybody that I've ever seen live to make every single person in there hate him, even if they've never seen him or heard of him ever before in their lives. He has such a good ability to do that, and that makes him easily one of the best heels that is left in professional wrestling today. He's not a cool heel. He's not even a scary heel. He's just a dick, and it makes him so good at his job. He's just a straight-up dick. And he doesn't care that he's a dick. And that makes him amazing. I hate him. But goddamn is he good at what he does. So, that other match, Zach Gibson versus Flash Morgan Webster, Gibson wins it in 4 minutes and just annihilates Flash, who was the crowd favorite by a mile going into this. The crowd was so behind Flash and so behind Travis Banks. And Gibson just destroyed him in 4 minutes flat. So we have our final, Zach Gibson versus Travis Banks. A 17-minute classic that Zach Gibson wins. And goes on to face Pete Dunne the next day for the WWE United Kingdom Championship. Stellar match. Tons of fun. Definitely recommended. On the other two matches that occurred, this was all the first day because the tournament and the event in and of itself happened over the course of 2 days in the UK.
Yeah.
The other thing, there are two other matches that happened on that first day of matches. One was a triple threat match that was actually supposed to be a fatal four-way, but got turned into a triple threat early because Ginny got injured and had to be taken out of the match. But in a triple threat match, Toni Storm defeated Killer Kelly and Isla Dawn to become the #1 contender to the NXT Women's Championship, currently held by Shayna Baszler. And in the semi-main event, British Strong Style, Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne, and Trent Seven defeated the Undisputed Era, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong. Setting up for the next day, a tag team match for the NXT Tag Team Championships. And wouldn't you know it, Tyler Bate and Trent Seven defeated Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong to win the NXT Tag Team Championships.
All four of these guys are so damn good.
Yeah.
And Pete Dunne is so damn good.
Yeah.
And Roddy Strong is so damn good. It's just...
Can I take a moment here to say that the transformation of Pete Dunne from last year's most hated man to this year being the anti-hero that we never knew we needed.
Yeah, no, he's
this dude. I swear to God, this freaking dude.
He does everything well.
He does everything well, and he's 24 fucking years old.
He does everything well.
He's one of the 20 best wrestlers in the world, if not 10 best, and he's 24 fucking years old. And oh my God, how this man is not like the top of every promotion that he's in. I mean, he is at the top of almost every promotion that he's in, but he's just, oh my God, I can't say enough good things about Pete Dunne.
You know what I love about him? Well, besides everything,
it's
that he's different than so many other guys in the UK and on the indies in general.
Mm-hmm.
He's different. He's just a big, nasty, vicious brawler who likes throwing people around the ring.
But he's not big. That's the best part about it.
But he wrestles big.
Yes. That is the defining characteristic of Pete Dunne. He's a little dude, by all accounts.
He is little.
He's a good 6 to 7 inches shorter than me. He's only 205. But oh my God, when he gets in that ring and he's going to work on a dude and just picking people apart piece by piece, he looks like the scariest, most vicious guy you've ever seen in the ring. He looks like the kind of guy that you would set up and send out in front of an Umaga or a Bad Luck Fale and have him get right in the dude's face and say, yeah, fuck you, I'm going to beat the shit out of you now.
He has such a presence, Chris.
He does.
In the ring and outside of the ring. He is captivating in the best possible way.
Mm-hmm.
He's great. I wish him nothing but success.
Yeah. Continuing
on, he should be on the main roster, to be honest, but
yes,
he's not, which is good for us, bad for him, good for us, good for progress. So, but he's great. I love him.
Yeah.
I love Toni Storm. We've discussed my love of her.
Yeah.
Your love of her. Everyone's love of her. Toni Storm versus Shayna Baszler should be a hoot and a half.
It was. It was a hoot and a half. The second day.
Nice.
However, Shayna Baszler won the match by countout.
Oh.
Because that's what Shayna Baszler does. She picked Toni apart, dumped her out of the ring, and Toni couldn't get back in time. But
that's a strong countout win.
Well, not when I say picked her apart, I mean it was a pretty even contest. But in the end, Shayna's ability to just isolate and target a body part and dismantle it wound up getting her the win because Toni couldn't get back in the ring in time because she had been, she'd given everything that she had to get that match, to get through that match. And she gave Shayna a run for her money. But in the end, Shayna just proved to be a little bit too much. And I think that it's a good thing that they did that because having Shayna have a definitive strong win against a very game challenger after that disaster that happened at TakeOver was the right thing to do. Kind of set her back on the right foot. So I think that was the best thing to do there. It made sense. I would have liked to see Toni get a little bit more of a not be losing by countout, but I will get to why that that won't be as important in time in just a few minutes. Other matches of note from day 2. We had a #1 contendership for the WWE United Kingdom Championship that would determine the next challenger for whoever won in the main event. It was originally supposed to be a triple threat between Travis Banks, Flash Morgan Webster, and Mark Andrews. However, at the last minute, it became a fatal 4-way when who should return but good old Noam Dar.
I heard he totally revamped his character.
Yes. And
no more making fun of his accent and Alicia Fox and all that. Much more straight-laced, serious version of Noam Dar.
Yep. And he won the match. And
Very nice.
He is now the #1 contender for the United Kingdom Championship.
Very nice.
Yep. Next up, Adam Cole defeated Wolfgang to retain the NXT North American Championship. Wolfgang, being the giant that he is, wrestled a very good match against Adam Cole. but Cole wound up winning in the end because he's Adam Cole, and he always finds a way.
Baby.
And then in your main event, Pete Dunne and Zach Gibson beat the fucking hell out of each other.
Yeah. Good times.
And Pete Dunne emerged victorious to retain the WWE United Kingdom Championship. But holy God, did they beat the shit out of each other. That was about as intense of a match as you could imagine. It was a brawl of the highest caliber, and it was awesome. I highly recommend you go watch that match. Well executed match.
All right, we'll check it out tomorrow.
The other big event from this 2-day cycle in the UK was the announcement of a new show and new brand for the WWE, NXT UK, which will be coming soon at the end of July.
So very soon, because July starts on like Monday.
Yep, the end of July, and then again at the end of August, and then again at the end of October and the end of November. There will be tapings for shows that will air on the WWE Network that will feature not only the United Kingdom Championship, but also the introduction of 2 new championships, the UK Women's Championship and the UK Tag Team Championship. Both will be introduced and will all be a part of NXT UK, which will feature many of the greatest stars from the UK independent wrestling circuit. Pretty much all being signed to contracts very similar to what you see Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, and Trent Seven wrestling with in NXT, where they're under contract with WWE for their events, but they're also able to wrestle in independent shows. Names like Tony Storm and Zach Gibson, Travis Banks, and Jimmy, and many, many others have all been signed for those events. NXT UK might just end up being Progress 2.0 on the WWE Network, but slightly less violent. But it also could end up being something entirely different. Either way, it's a spotlight for some of the best talent in the world right now, and I am not unhappy about that. Giving some of these people a platform that will broadcast their art to thousands, if not millions, is only a good thing. So I am quite all right with NXT UK.
I'm a little more pessimistic than you are.
I know. Yeah. And right,
a little.
I probably should be a little bit more pessimistic, but yeah. I'm choosing to exercise cautious optimism for once.
I can't begrudge a man for being cautiously optimistic. So I am optimistically pessimistic. How's that? Is that fair? Is that fair? It's still I still have the shakes from watching WWE booking. NXT booking is more or less immune to that rot. It's still weird finishes though and stuff. It's starting to kind of permeate down to Orlando. Yeah, I'm curious to see who they are picking to run the promotion.
Well, I can tell you that right now.
Oh, tell me that.
The GM of NXT UK is going to be legendary UK wrestler Johnny Saint.
Well, I'm run as in like backstage, not like
backstage, yeah.
Like who's actually going to run the
I'm pretty sure, given that Triple H was the one that made the announcement, that it's going to be under his purview.
Yeah, I would just be like, here you go, William Regal. Show me what you got.
Yeah, that would be absolutely the correct name. But
I don't want Papa Trips to get spread too thin.
True enough.
But I like Tony Storm, Pete Dunne, all those guys. Opposite Power Trip, all the guys from Progress. I mean, shit. I would at this point just call out Progress to put Jim Smallman in charge.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he had some sort of a backstage role because they already have
it might as well be called Fedgress at this point. Progress as an independent entity is the glory days of Progress from like 2 years ago. I think those days are more or less over. Not that Progress is still not doing good work.
Oh, they absolutely are.
The days of them being like the #1 promotion in the world in terms of storyline continuity, those days are over. I think just in terms of just that they had their run and it was great.
Yeah,
the rise.
To be fair,
the rise of Jimmy Havoc, The you know what I'm saying? The early, super early Will Ospreay stuff, like they built British wrestling from the ground up. They with help. I'm not going to just say just them.
In a lot of ways, though, they still are doing a very good job of that. You know, with the whole, I mean, you know, you mentioned Jimmy Havoc. I can't not talk about, you know, Havoc Haskins.
Oh,
as, you know, one of the best stables that's going right now. You know, the revelation of that is Zach Gibson. Travis Banks still being, you know, one of the best in the world. Potentially the next Daniel Bryan. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The man is absolutely revelatory in everything that he does. The transformation of British Strong Style from being hated, reviled heels to now being, you know, the anti-heroes of the company. Yeah, still is doing a great job. Let's not sell them short.
No, and I don't mean to throw dirt on them. You know, I'm not closing the coffin, but I'm just saying, like, the era of where Progress had carte blanche to any Brit and any Commonwealth member under the sun, that era is over. The Fed has gone in and decided, and rightfully so, that this is an avenue for them to expand their business. So I am a smidge pessimistic about it, but I'm willing to give it more than its fair share of chances.
For sure.
So we'll see. Yeah. Long story short, I'll be watching, Chris.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. Next up, we've got a couple of previews to give you guys.
Sure.
To close out the night.
Yeah.
First one, tomorrow night in Catonsville, Maryland, at the UMBC Event Center, Ring of Honor brings you Best in the World 2018. A show that is kind of up and down, but should be somewhat interesting. I'm not going to run through the whole card because, you know, there's
a few matches I'm interested in.
Yeah, there's a few matches that are worth discussing.
I'm interested in Punishment Martinez versus Adam Page.
Yep. Street fight for the ROH World Television Championship.
I have expressed my dislike for Punishment's gimmick. But in the ring, he's getting much better, and I'm curious to see what he and Adam Page can do. Jay Lethal versus Kushida should be damn good.
Yes,
could be the match of the night. Chris, tell me about this 8-woman tag.
Well, this is a very interesting tag, I got to say. Because if you recall, if any of you watched the Women of Honor tournament that culminated at Supercard of Honor, the partnership between ROH and Stardom first showed its fruits there, with a number of members of the Stardom roster making their appearances in that tournament. And here tonight we have 4 members of Stardom and 4 members of the Women of Honor roster facing off in a very intriguing 8-women tag match. Women of Honor champion Sumei Sakai is teaming alongside Jenny Rose, Tenille Dashwood, and Mayu Iwatani to face the Gatekeeper Kelly Klein and the 3 chief members of Oedo Tai, Kagetsu, Hana Kimura, and Hazuki. Oedo Tai choosing to throw in their lot with Kelly Klein makes sense because Kelly Klein has been the dominant heel of Women of Honor. I was honestly surprised to see that Tenille Dashwood is on the side of the faces here, but it makes sense if they want her to be like a central figure that they can advertise around. So I figure that, you know, they can kind of toe the line with her, but still have her, you know, side with the good guys most of the time. Mayu Iwatani is obviously excellent. And she's gonna carry a lot of the weight. She and Tenille are probably gonna carry a lot of the weight on the face side of the match. But to see how Oedo Tai functions alongside Kelly Klein is really going to give a very good idea into what role the Stardom roster is going to have going forward in the Women of Honor, because Oedo Tai has become now the dominant faction in Stardom. Kagetsu currently holds the World of Stardom Championship. She won it from Toni Storm very recently and is now the top title holder in the company. And in the draft that happened a few months ago, when Io Shirai severely fucked up in terms of not drafting Hazuki back to Queen's Quest, and Oedo Tai picked her up instead, that has led to Hazuki becoming easily one of the best heels in the whole company. She has immediately adapted to the role of just being a complete snake in the grass, as most of the members of Oedo Tai are. And she is just a ton of fun to watch now, as just, completely like whereas in Queen's Quest, they were kind of, tweeners. They towed the line of being heels, but overall they didn't break a whole lot of rules and weren't outright bad, and Hazuki was chief among them in that regard of towing the line. Now that she's gone over to Oedo Tai, she's just turned into a complete and outright snake in the grass and will do anything and everything that she can to win. And is,
my kind of lady.
In a desperate bid to prove that Io was wrong in not bringing her back first, in drafting Azumi and Momo first back to Queen's Quest, and not putting all of her faith in Hazuki first. Hazuki is now out on a mad quest to prove Io was wrong in doing that. And it's eventually going to culminate in what should be a stellar match for the Wonder of Stardom title between Momo Watanabe and Hazuki. That's going, whenever that happens, which will probably be something that gets set up during the Cinderella tournament. Either way, whenever that match does happen, it's probably going to be one of the best matches Stardom has all year. But to see where they fit in this match and how they get along with Kelly Klein and what they do, and eventually, obviously, also who wins the match and who scores the pinfall here, it's going to be very telling in what the relationship here is between Women of Honor and Stardom, because Women of Honor have already sent a number of their women over to Japan for the Cinderella tournament, and you can definitely guess that a number of them will also be involved in the All-Stars tournament over later on in the summer. So, needless to say, this is going to be a lot of fun to watch. I'm looking forward to this match.
You know what I'm looking forward to?
I can guess, because I'm looking forward to it as well.
Are you looking forward to the Briscoes versus the Young Bucks?
Oh yeah, I am.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, those two have been, those four, excuse me, have been 10 years of this, and it's been great.
Mm-hmm.
The Briscoes have been a tag team. God, look at this. You ready? You ready to feel old?
Oh yeah.
Briscoes have been a tag team since 2000.
Mm-hmm.
The Young Bucks have been a tag team since 2004.
Jesus.
And the Young Bucks have never gone on singles runs. The Briscoes barely have.
Yeah.
When Jay was Ring of Honor champion and Mark of the TV championship and etc.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the Briscoes are closer to the end of their career than the beginning.
Yes.
But I think the Young Bucks are just hitting their stride right now. They are on an hellacious roll.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the main event real quick, and then we'll get out of here.
Yeah.
Dalton Castle, your champion and mine, versus Cody versus Marty Scurll. I think it's safe to say that the Dalton Castle championship reign has been lackluster. They gave him the main event slot versus Marty Scurll in New Orleans after Omega versus Cody was the semi-main, and it fell flat. The match was long, not very good.
I feel like this though, I have to say, I do not feel that this is necessarily the fault of Dalton Castle, because he has definitely carried his weight. He has done as much as he can to sell himself as being worthy of. He did the lion's share of the work in terms of selling himself as being worthy of the championship spot leading up to him getting the belt. The fact of the matter is, Ring of Honor waited way too long to put him in that spot, and when they did put him in the slot, they didn't give him the fair shake that he deserved.
And then he got hurt.
Too.
Which just happens. It's no one's fault, Yeah,
that obviously, you can't avoid that sometimes.
Yeah,
but
it just happens. It's wrestling. Guys
get
hurt.
A lot of the other stuff, though, Ring of Honor definitely screwed the pooch on this one, which is unfortunate because Dalton Castle is a stellar talent. Great guy. So,
I think it's time to put the belt back on Cody Rhodes, though.
Set
it up for All In. Mm-hmm. The title versus Nick Aldis.
Yeah.
Etc. Do that. Cody can have a little bit of hardware to counter Kenny's hardware.
Yeah.
You know, kind of further that angle a little bit.
Yep.
Marty can kind of be the third wheel and have his own little angle, etc.
You can use this to set up a redemption angle for Marty of rejoining the Bucks and Kenny. And, you know,
exactly
establishing the lines, the battle lines leading up to the inevitable war.
Exactly. So I think Cody wins this match.
I do too.
I wonder what happens with Marty going forward, though.
I think it's exactly what I just said. I think that he, you know, in this match, I think that he is going to end up being, somehow I think he's going to end up being screwed in this match, such that he will be unable to reconcile himself any further in terms of being aligned with Cody and Cody's ends. I think I hope at least. Ring of Honor has been very ham-fisted in telling their side of this story, where New Japan has been brushing with delicate strokes. You know, Ring of Honor is just, you know, tossing entire cans of paint on the canvas. You know, none so more evident than that disastrous scene of Brandy kissing Kenny Omega. But if Ring of Honor can manage to not bludgeon this to death, I think that it could be a very worthwhile chapter in the story. You know, it's really a matter of, is Delirious going to give the Bucks, Kenny, and Cody the same measure of carte blanche that Geto and Kadani have given them? That's going to be, you know, did Delirious learn from his mistakes? My gut tells me no, but I'm willing to give it a guarded chance. So we'll see.
I may watch this tomorrow night if I can get a stream.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. Especially the latter half of it looks pretty good. Yeah. Not really interested in Flip Gordon versus Bully Ray. Real quick, the Kingdom, which you know my hatred of, are wrestling LIJ, Bushi, Evil, and Sonata. That should be fun.
Yeah, that should
mostly
be
because Bushi, Evil, and Sonata are great. Matt Taven is TK Orion and Vinny Marseglia are pretty terrible.
Yeah.
The people are like on Twitter, I like in the Kingdom. I don't see it. Whatever. Do your own thing. I don't see it.
Yeah.
You know. So this looks like a fun card.
It could be fun.
Versus Austin Aries is your opener. Like, okay. This is not a bad way to spend a Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So
last thing before we get out the door, I'm going to really quick run through a couple of the matches that are going to be happening this weekend if you're able to watch on RPW On Demand or New Japan World, whichever you're subscribed to. We have Strong Style Evolved UK happening on Saturday and Sunday. We have, first of all, on night one, a couple of very interesting matches. Here's one that I think you are going to get a little wiggly about. Your friend and mine, Walter.
Oh, a good man.
A good man. Facing the greatest of men, Yuji Nagata.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
You in for that?
You have my attention, sir.
Yeah. That's going to be... I mean, there's no way that Yuji Nagata wins this match, but it's going to be fun as hell. Match that I'm interested in, you may not be as much, but my love of CCK, I've not really talked about a lot, but I'm a closet CCK fan, and seeing Chris Brooks wrestle a singles match versus Yoshihashi should be a good amount of fun. Chris Brooks is probably one of the most unheralded talents out there in progress and in the UK scene. So I'm interested to see how this goes. Your main event of the night, though. Here you go. Have some fun with this one. Wrestling for the RPW British Tag Team Championships. Your champions, Minoru Suzuki and Zack Sabre Jr., facing your challengers, Kazuchika Okada and Tomohiro Ishii. Yeah?
Yeah. I am a happy camper.
Yep.
I like life. Happy camper is me.
Yep.
Good stuff.
Oh, and it only gets better on night 2. It only gets better on night 2. Let me give you these last 5 matches, or last 4 matches. These last 4 matches of night 2. Chris Brooks versus Switchblade Jay White as the number 6 match on the card. That should be a bunch of fun.
Yeah. Your friend Taichi. Oh, I have lots of friends. Who's my friend?
Taichi.
A great man.
Facing your friend and mine.
Room on the bandwagon. Come on down.
You're staying on it alone. You're staying on it alone.
The Taichi train's leaving the station.
And you're on it by yourself.
I'm riding this train, baby.
Yep. And he is facing your friend and mine, Will Ospreay.
That's a good come on down to the Taichi train, baby. And the train is leaving the station and not going very far because Will's going to kick his ass. But that's okay.
Now, Adam, when I announced that tag team match, that's the main event of night 1, Adam mentioned in the chat, pants. I seem to have lost my pants and my mind.
I'm not wearing any.
Well,
either. And that's why. That match is why I took them off.
Be prepared for Adam and George. Be prepared for your pants to vacate your various states of living.
Okay.
Your semi-main event of night 2.
All right. Let's go.
Kazuchika Okada versus Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go.
And
LETSGO! Exclamation point.
And your main event of night 2.
My main event? That wasn't the main? There's something better?
That's not the main.
Not the main. Oh man. What could be better than what could be better than a 4 3/4 star match between Okada and Sabre Jr.? But okay.
I'll tell you. Your main event of the night. Wrestling for the RPW British Heavyweight Championship.
Oh, I know this match, and I'm
your
excited.
Challenger Minoru Suzuki. Your champion,
greatest man of all time.
Your champion, Tomohiro Ishii.
The second greatest man of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good times for me.
Yeah.
When is this? This weekend, right?
That is this weekend. Night 1.
What day?
Saturday, starting at 5:30 p.m. GMT. So that would be 11:30 a.m. for you.
That's not bad.
Night 2, starting again on Sunday, 5:30 p.m. GMT, 11:30 a.m. for you, 12:30 p.m. for me.
Not bad at all.
And you can find it on both RPW On Demand or New Japan World. Whichever one you're subscribed to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it looks like I'll be doing that this weekend.
Oh, yeah. Those matches involving Okada, Sabre, Suzuki, and Ishii, those are gonna.
Yeah, those are quite good, as the kids say. Those are lit AF.
Yeah,
lit AF. That's a good way to end the show, my friend.
Yes, it is. Strong Style Evolved, guys. Do not sleep on this show.
Rev Pro shows are always also a lot of fun. They're really intimate.
Yeah. Rev Pro is kind of in the shadow of Progress, but they do great stuff. So definitely check that show out if you are able. All right. Plugs. And then we'll get out of here.
I did a show last week with our godfather, Taker's Minion, and his lovely wife,
Legends Lover.
Mrs. Taker's Minion. Thank you. I couldn't think of her name. Legends Lover. She's on the mend. She's got surgery tomorrow. We're pulling for you, Legends Lover. Get a rotator cuff fixed up. Get well soon. It was a lot of fun. We talked the Harts. We talked the Von Erichs. We talked the Anoa'i families. And for about an hour and a half Sunday night, it was a really cool show.
You should check it out. The Connoisseurs of Wrestling, yes.
That's it. It was a lot of fun going down memory lane with those two, and they're both super knowledgeable and good people. So it was really, really good show, and I hope you all check it out.
Indeed.
I will be doing a show next Friday. Friend of the show, Don Sal Kuzmano, about the World Cup.
Okay.
And Sal and I were the same guys who told you Germany wasn't advancing, and they didn't. So maybe you should pay attention to us, people.
Go Nigeria.
Sal's good people. Sal's a good dude. We love him. He gives me hope for the youth of this country. And I say that I'm 33. So, yeah. But no, he in all seriousness, he's a good dude. And you should all listen to his show on Cedar Bridge Media.
Yes.
When is the next match fixing, my friend?
I do not know. But Don Sal, I'm sure, will mention it on his Twitter feed at Cusmano_Sal, and also on Cedar Bridge's feed at Cedar_Bridge. So definitely make sure you're following both of those accounts to get the latest updates on when match fixing is taking place, because as George said, Don Sal is incredibly knowledgeable. We love him.
He's good.
We're looking forward to the next time we can have him on the show, which will hopefully be soon.
It's been too long.
Yeah. George did mention, of course, the Connoisseurs of Wrestling, and their show is on Sunday nights. Every Sunday night that there is not a WWE pay-per-view taking place. You can find it at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Central. Follow Takers_Minion on Twitter to get all the latest updates on when Connoisseurs of Wrestling is taking place with Takers Minion and his co-host, Biff Kensington III, and occasionally also Legends Lover. Definitely make sure to check them out. And Takers Minion, you can also be found at our brothers from Los Ingobernables Day podcast, Shooting the Breeze on Saturday mornings. And they are celebrating their 1-year anniversary this Saturday, June 30th. Show is going to be starting 1 hour earlier at 10 a.m. Eastern,
I'm doing a
9
running.
a.m. Central.
I'm doing a running on that show. I'm not going to be there for the whole time, but I'm going to jump in and podcast for a little bit and jump back out. I'm doing a run in with a steel chair. Swinging the chair, Chris.
Excellent. I am not going to be able to do a run in, unfortunately, but I am still looking forward to listening to the show after the fact.
I'm going to do a run and hopefully we'll be too hungover.
For sure.
That'll be fun if I'm hungover. Why not?
Absolutely. Should be a ton of fun. And be sure to check them out as well. You can find them at Shootin' Da Breeze 1. That's Shootin' Da BREEZ 1 at Twitter. And you can also find them again. Takers Minion is at Takers_Minion. And Mr. Dr. Senju is at MRDR Senju. Also, our friends over at Wednesday Night Shooting, Tanya Rogers and Andrew M. Swift, bringing you all the greatest hot takes that you can find in the world of professional wrestling. They are super knowledgeable and super fun to listen to. Be sure to check their show out on YouTube and follow them on Twitter as well, at Militia Malice Joe and at Andrew M. Swift. And that's all the plugs that I got.
Sounds like them all. What about where can we find you on Twitter?
Well, you can follow us as a show on Twitter at 2guys1sport, number 1 in the handle. And you can also follow us individually on our accounts at CrazyChris576 and at GitSabas. I can also be found over at twitch.tv/CrazyChris576, 5 nights a week streaming video games of all different kinds, mostly Borderlands 2, but plenty of others as well, as I feel like mixing them in. So if that kind of content interests you, please feel free to stop on by my Twitch channel and say hello. You can follow us also on iTunes at the link below the video in the description. Go over there, subscribe, give us a rating, give us a recommendation. And as always, be sure to spread the word about 2guys1sport to all of your friends and family that are wrestling fans and lovers as we are. We love having you guys in the chat. We love interacting with you guys during the show and throughout the week as well. And we love to hear from you. So come on by every week for the show, Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Hit us up on the social media, and let's talk about all the graps. We love talking to you guys. Episode 65 next week, we will be having ourselves a full preview.
You want your homework assignment? I forgot.
Let me give it.
Your homework assignment real quick.
Hit me with it.
The year is halfway over.
Okay.
So I think we should do a top 5 matches of the year so far.
I like the sound of that.
So come up with a list, the top 5 matches of the year.
I can do that. I certainly
can. Your homework assignment.
That will take some time, but I will definitely get on it.
Well, you have 6 days and 22 hours.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, no problem. And otherwise, also in episode 65 next week, we will also be having ourselves recaps of Strong Style Evolved, Best in the World. And we will also be looking ahead to the G1 special in San Francisco that is happening next
the 7th,
Saturday
I think it is.
night.
I think it's next
July
Saturday.
7th.
Yeah.
Next Saturday night, wherein the main event of the show is going to be Kenny Omega versus Cody for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship of the World. It's going to be a great show, and we will have all of the information about it for you. So be sure to be back here for that. George, take us home, my friend.
Ladies and gentlemen, as always, a sincere thank you for listening to us. Y'all are the reason we do this.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that you are good to each other, that you are kind to each other, and that wrestling will never stop being as cool to you as it was to the people taking their shoes off in the United Kingdom. And most of all, I hope that you don't work yourself into a shoe, because nobody wants to do that.
Not at all.
So, this is Two Guys, One Sport. That's Chris. I'm George. Thanks for listening. Good night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Episode 64 is in the books.